What if I told you there's a veteran big man smart as a coach, calm as a surgeon, cold as a fourth quarter free throw, whose name has been whispering around the bay like a trade wind? What if I told you the move changes the geometry of the offense overnight, puts a GPS on our spacing, and makes every weak side defender feel 2 steps late before the ball even crosses half court? And what if I told you the conversations have been quiet, almost boring on purpose? Because the best chess moves aren't made on a podcast, they're made in silence. You want in or you want to find out tomorrow from a screenshot with 3 typos? Here's the deal. Tonight we're not playing the guess the rumor game. We're building a case. We're going to layer the basketball logic, the locker room logic, and the salary cap logic until it either collapses under its own weight or stands up like a steel beam. I'm going to show you how one addition can give Steph cleaner air, let Draymond red the floor with a wider lens, and turn our second unit from a roller coaster into a commuter train. But I'm not saying the name yet. You're going to earn it. Like a good back screen cut. Before we go deep, promise from me to you, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why the fit makes sense, which lineups explode because of it, which matchups in the West tilt our way, what the minute plan would look like, and how to avoid the trap of expecting 28-year-old legs from a 38-year-old mind. We'll also talk about worst-case scenarios so nobody gets seduced by nostalgia. The headline you want? Not yet. First we set the table, then we serve the steak. You're watching Warriors News Fan Report. Tap subscribe. Drop a like right now before we dive and you forget. And hit the bell so you don't get the news secondhand from your cousin's burner account. This channel is built by Dub Nation for Dub Nation. Honest hoops talk. A little sauce, zero fluff. Let's start with identity. The Warriors are a timing machine. When the timing is right, split cuts crisp, screen angles sharp, weak side eyes discipline, we look immortal. When the timing is off, one screen late, one spacing error, one indecisive short roll, the whole thing feels like trying to start a car with a dead battery. That's why the most valuable skill next to Steph isn't dunking. It's decision-making at game speed. We don't just need size. We need a front-court brain that processes like a point guard. Think about our pain points last year. In the non-Steph minutes, the offense turned into a group project where nobody opened the Google Doc. Second unit stalled. Short rolls got stuck. Corner shooters became spectators. And our bigs either popped without gravity or rolled without a plan. The result? Empty possessions, stress on the defense, and too many games decided by 3 bad minutes instead of 47 good ones. Add a big who connects actions, who knows when to DHO, when to ghost screen, when to fake the re-screen and slip, and those 3 bad minutes turn into 2 easy layups and a corner 3. Defensively, the West asks a nasty question every playoff. Can your big survive 2 coverages in 1 possession? Can he show at the level on SGA, retreat to tag Chet, then turn and box out a cutter before the ball swings? Against Denver, can he absorb Jokic body-to-body without fouling while still taking away the back cut? Against the Lakers, can he quarterback the back line so LeBron sees 5 blue jerseys even when there are only 3? We don't need a shot-blocking contest winner. We need a communicator who shrinks the floor with his voice. And culturally, this roster still runs through Steph's gravity and Draymond's edge, but the margin is experience. The young guys learn faster when the film makes sense. A veteran big who speaks Warriors basically turns every practice into a mini clinic. Screen angle here. Delay action there. 45 cut if your man ball watches. Sprint into the next action instead of admiring your pass. It's the difference between knowing the plays and knowing the why. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, fit matters, identity matters, IQ matters, say the name. Breathe. We've got 2 more layers, lineups and dollars. Lineups first. Imagine a second unit with a front court hub who can run split action from the elbow, who sees the back screen before it happens, who flips the screen direction to punish top locking, and who punishes any team that dares to stash a small on him by sealing on the roll and spraying passes to cutters. That's the antidote to the droughts. Dollars second. In our reality, ring-chasing discounts exist, but fantasy discounts don't. You want the move to be real? Then the contract has to be sane, the role has to be fair, and the expectations have to be aligned with a body that's played a lot of NBA miles, Doc. Okay, you've waited. Paragraph 10. Let's go, Doc. The name is Al Horford. Yes, that Al Horford. The adult in the room. The 5 who thinks like a 1. The high-post surgeon who turns split action into free throws and open threes. The steady drumbeat your offense needs when the music gets loud. The idea on the board. Al Horford to the Golden State Warriors. Now pause, here's the cold water and the clarity. As of right now, we're talking about a live, logical, heavily rumored path that fits our basketball needs and our culture, but not a signed, sealed, and delivered announcement. If you came here for its official jersey reveal at 9 a.m., that's not this channel. What we're doing is connecting dots the right way. Fit, role, minutes, money, urgency, and explaining why the Horford to the Dubs concept refuses to die. Consider this the blueprint of how and why it could happen, not a fake trophy parade in October. Basketball first, because that's the fun part. On offense, Horford is a spacing lighthouse. Park him above the break, and the weak side tagger has to choose between helping on the roll or living with a big who can catch and fire before the closeout arrives. That one beat of hesitation unlocks everything we love. Steph sprinting into a re-screen without a crowd. Clay, or whoever's filling that role, cutting behind a ball-watching defender. Wiggs diving into the slot. Moody lifting out of the corner. Brandon slicing the 45. Give Horford the ball at the elbow, and you can run the old Warriors choir book, split action. Keeper dribble handoff, fake DHO into a shoulder bump roll. Backdoor hit when the top lock gets greedy. He doesn't need 15 shots. He needs 60 good decisions. That's his oxygen dot with Draymond. The fit is layered. In some matchups, Dre is the 5 and Horford is the 4. True 2-bit minutes that actually breathe because both can pass and both can shoot. Dre can set the high screen for Steph while Horford spaces deep. Or you can invert it. Horford screens. Dre plays the short roll and becomes the middleman while Horford drifts into the slot 3. Defenses used to pre-rotating on Dre's short roll suddenly have to honor the skip because the skip is landing in a big who wants that shot and has earned the right to take it. In other words, no more help and pray closeouts to a non-dash shooter dot with Steph specifically. The math is cruel to opponents. You can't drop because he'll bury you. You can't blitz without giving Horford 4-on-3. You can't switch the guard onto Horford and expect to live on the glass. And you definitely can't pre-rotate off Horford's corner without paying the tax. The result, more simple threes for Steph, fewer solve-a-maze possessions, and a cleaner diet of looks in fourth quarters where our legs need help from our brains. Defense next. Horford isn't erasing shots at the summit at this stage, but he is erasing possessions with positioning. You will call out a Spain pick and roll 2 seconds before the back screen lands. He will show, retreat, and tag without turning it into a track meet. He will bump a cutter just enough to throw off timing. And he will close the defensive glass like it's a paycheck. Against Jokic, the goal isn't win the box score. Nobody does. The goal is to make every catch a negotiation, to funnel the cutting lanes where we have bodies, to turn the post-ups into slow cooking. Against OKC, the goal is to meet SGA at the level, retreat with balance, and live with contested floaters instead of corner threes. Horford is built for that exact chess. Let's map lineups, because this is where it gets spicy. Lineup A, closing versus. Switch heavy teams. Steph, Clay, Moody, Wiggins, Dre, Horford. You're switching 1 to 4, showing peeling with 5. And on offense, you're playing 5 out with 2 conductors. The moment the weak side help pinches, Steph sends the ball to the elbow and runs off 2 screens goodnight. Lineup B, second unit stabilizer. Brandon, Moody, GP2, Sarek type forward, Pods, Horford. Yes, it's small on the wing, but the actions are automatic. Horns into split, Chicago action into ghost screen, Spain with GP2 at the back screener. You squeeze 2 layups and a corner 3 every 3 trips. Those non-Steph minutes stop bleeding. Lineup C, Jokic plan. Steph, Wiggins, Moody, Dre, Horford. 2 bigs, 2 wings, 1 nuclear guard. You take away high-low by putting 2 high hands at the elbows and tempting the short roll into a thicket of hands. On the other end, Jokic has to defend more space than he wants to for longer than he wants to. That's a math fight we can stomach. Minute plan is crucial. You don't buy hero miles in January, so you can't afford them in May. Think 26 to 28 minutes on most nights. 20 to 22 on back-to-backs, aiding in blowouts. 30 in the 3 or 4 matchups per month that scream adult supervision needed. Start some games. Come off the bench in others. It's not a demotion. It's maintenance. If a week stacks altitude, travel, and physical teams, sit a night with 0 drama and keep the legs for the ones that matter. That's how you make 82 feel like 62. But he's old section. Let's handle it without hashtags. Yes, speed drops with age. What doesn't drop is anticipation. If he's a half step slower laterally, he becomes a half second faster mentally. He guards with angles, not with sprints. He rebounds by carving space early, not by out-jumping kids with fresh knees. And when the playoffs slow down, and they always do, processing beats pogo sticks more often than Twitter wants to admit. Let's talk pitfalls so we don't build a shrine. Number 1, availability. The best skill is being on the floor. If the body says no for 2 weeks, you don't argue, you reshuffle and survive. Number 2, role creep. If he starts hitting 5 threes in a week, don't turn him into Clay with a headband. Keep him in the flow actions and let the game bring him shots. Number 3, timeline tension. Young bigs need reps. That means intentional lineups where he sits so they eat, even if the short-term product looks messy. The long view is the only view that wins banners. Cap talk, the safe way. You want it real? Then the number has to work. At this stage, you're looking at veteran-friendly money or a short-term, incentive-leaning deal that respects his resume without punishing flexibility. If another team throws a multi-year bag, you tip your cap and move on. But contenders attract adults who still want the parade more than the payday. The pitch is simple. A defined role, a promise to protect the body, and a basketball environment that doesn't ask you to cosplay as Prime Superman. Now, the West board. Denver is Denver. You don't solve them. You outlast them. Horford makes those minutes survivable. OKC plays with 5 drivers and 1 unicorn. Horford's communication keeps our shell connected. Minnesota's Twin Tower bully ball. 2 big minutes with brains, not brawn, so Gobert has to choose between guarding space or guarding air. The Lakers will spam actions at the nail. Horford sits on the nail like a traffic cop. The Clippers will go small ball math. You punish it with elbow hubs and offensive glass by timing, not muscle. Let's get into the weeds of sets, because this is where warrior sickos like us live. Imagine horns. Dre on one elbow, Horford on the other, Steph up top. Steph pitches to Horford, Dre sets the back screen for a 3-man split. Steph fakes high, dives low. Corner lifts, weak side shakes up Horford, has 3 reads all day. Or Chicago, pinned down into DHO on the wing. If the defender top locks, Horford flips the angle. Steph rejects and goes middle. Dre is already short rolling to the dotted line as the outlet. Or Spain. Steph, Dre, PNR, Moody back screens Horford's man. Horford delays 1 beat, then pops to the top open 3, or swing into the corner. Every action becomes easier because the big making the decision has a PhD. Endgame. Possessions are Achilles last season get saner. With Horford, you can run empty corner PNR with Steph and let Horford space weak side slot. The tagger either surrenders a layup, or you throw a 30-foot laser to a big who can shoot or immediately swing to a corner shooter. If they switch and load 2 on the ball, Horford becomes the middleman above the break, catches, and hits a cutter for a free throw parade. Boring? Great. Boring wins in May. Intangibles matter too. Horford doesn't flip tables, he removes excuses. He settles huddles. He kills 2 possession slides with one "my bad" and a perfect screen. He will look a 21-year-old in the eye, explain a coverage in 10 words, and then go run it exactly that way 3 trips in a row. That is leadership you can film, not just post. Okay, zoom back out. If the idea gets traction, what keeps it from morphing into a headline and then into a circus? Transparency? Set the row early, 20 to 28 minutes. Mismatch readers more than mismatch hunters. Rest days scheduled. 2 big package installed but not spammed. And a young bid development track that's sacred. Paint the map. Stick to the map.now. The uncomfortable truth. Even perfect fits fail if the timing is wrong. If the legs don't cooperate, if the shooting slumps, if the whistle is unfriendly, you can't panic into a different identity. You ride the principles, ball movement, body movement. Trust the pass and use the veteran to accelerate those principles, not to replace them. There's also the emotional piece. Dub Nation has memory. You bring in a seasoned vet and he plays 2 flat weeks, the timeline loses its mind. Don't. Respect the ramp, respect the rhythm, judge the idea over months, not Mondays. The whole point of a move like this is to raise the floor nightly and raise the ceiling situationally. It's not about viral nights. It's about calm ones. All right, your turn, Warriors family. Do you pull this trigger? Do you value the brain at the 5 more than the biceps at the 5? Do you buy the premise that our offense doesn't need more gas? It needs a smarter driver in the carpool lane? Drop your lineup ideas in the comments. Who closes with Horford on the floor in a Game 6 at Chase? And who sits knowing that closing is a privilege, not a resume line? My personal take, then I'm out of your hair. I'm in if the number is saying, if the rest plan is real, and if the staff commits to balanced youth development with adult closing minutes. The fit is basketball clean, the upside is playoff loud, and the risk is manageable with honesty. But say it with me, this is a speculation, not a press release. No jersey photos, no announcements, no done deal. It's the right idea, at the right time, for the right reasons. Now we find out if idea becomes action.